but we're here because after the election there was the Okwe committee that was set up. The reports had been submitted to the leadership of the party, but subsequently there had been concerns that had been raised. A lot of commentary. We have a number of individuals who had raised concerns, Agyarko, we have Atta Kennedy and the rest, okay? The perception that had been created was that DMB has a stranglehold on the party because they still don't have the regular or normal way of trying to reassert yourself after a huge loss. So we've had the top-bottom approach, which has been criticized extensively by outsiders. Now we've come to the point where the messaging seems to have incurred a lot of wrath among all the individuals who are contesting, to the point that even the last time when they were signing the pact, you could see the demeanor, confirmed later by aides of Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia of himself when he was signing. What do you think has been wrong so far from that time when they lost the election, which has culminated into all the things that have been observed to today?
So, Roland, everything has been wrong. And growing up, there was a program on TV that was called Journey to the West. Also, I don't know,
Shefu and Wukong.
Yeah, I think this
Journey to the West, that's a Chinese.
Yes, these people have embarked on what I call Journey to Abyss. The party will never be the same after Saturday because it's an own goal. First of all, immediately election 2024 was over. 14th of December, they set up a committee in the Asante region. That committee was chaired by Chairman Owusu. Remember, Chairman Owusu is a leading member of the Bawumia Campaign, Bawumia elected campaign. The whole idea was to create an impression in the minds of the people that the defeat had nothing to do with the one that led them in the last election, that's Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia. So the outcome of that report was that, yes, they attributed the defeat to the loose talks of Kennedy Agyapong. Nothing was attributed to the vice president. There again, they attributed the defeat to the delegate system, corruption, and mismanagement of the economy. It is the reason why, since December of 2024, you realize that any campaign platform that Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia mounted, he tried to distance himself from the happenings in government, saying that he was just a mere mate.
Was it wrong?
Absolutely. What have we been told by NAPO? As for NAPO, the moment he speaks, I laugh. I would always wish that you speak.
NAPO?
Oh, NAPO. How can you go and say that the cabinet that you were sitting, Mahamadu Bawumia was the wisest person? You have even insulted Akufo Addo.
I don't understand.
That you go to cabinet, you that sits in cabinet. Cabinet, you had about 90 members sitting in cabinet. Look straight into all of them, their faces, and say, of all the 90, the wisest person was Mahamadu Bawumia. How can you do that to the very person that...
But that is his observation, Solomon.
That is why they went on a thank you tour. I mean, the people realized that, but for the benevolence of the Ghanaian, NAPO would have been your vice president. Loose talker like that. He would have been going to the UN to go and even insult us there. How can you do that? The last time he came and even looked straight at his own uncle, President Akufo, and said that Nana Akufo had outperformed all of them, including his uncle. Digging a hole means performance. So clearly, they have not been in the top of shape. But let's go into the various issues that have come out. They started with a thank you tour. Under the thank you tour, remember someone was stabbed in Bantima, leading to Kennedy Agyapong withdrawing from the thank you tour. It was within the thank you tour that the national chairman, someone who had contested for this position for that long, Stephen Ayesu and team, decided to withdraw from it, and since then resigned. Now we don't even know his whereabouts. So as we speak, the NPP has no substantive national chairman. Now fast forward. What have they been telling us? We have already discussed issues of sins. Kennedy Agyapong's 10 sins, Bawumia's 16 sins, was it Brian's 10 sins, Aduchum's 10 sins. I think it's Kwabena Agyapong that they are yet to find about 3 or 4 sins. But even with them, they have found some 1 or 2 sins with him.
Kwabena Agyapong.
Kwabena Agyapong. They say he's a lazy man. That's what they have told him. That's his sin. So clearly, they themselves have told us that all of them have sinned, and that on Saturday they will be giving us what we call the holy sinner for the people of this country to deal with.
Oh.
You are going to give us Holy Sinner
on
Saturday.
Oh, Solomon.
Now, fast forward. You come to the messaging. What have they been telling us? You go to Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia that we are made to believe that he is the wisest person on earth. In fact, amongst the NPP, he is the wisest person. What has been his campaign message? The major message that he has given to the NPP delegates is that, given the opportunity, he will send them to Israel to go and pray.
He didn't say that.
Oh!
He said he will sponsor Christians, like the way when it comes to Muslim pilgrims to Mecca, they are also subsidized. That's what he said.
How different is what I said from what you are saying?
Well,
the man says that
that's
you and I,
my decoding of
our tax revenue, the tax that you are paying, and I will be paying, should, in an unlikely event, he becomes the president of this land, he will use it to sponsor.
But what is wrong? We do that for Muslims.
What are we talking about?
Subsidize
I give you my
marginally.
That's the more reason why Ghanaians might not even make the mistake of thinking about him, giving him 10% in the next elections. Because this Saturday election is being rigged for him. He's going to win anyway. There is nothing scientific. I heard my brother Zato talk about scientific polls. Last year, didn't I expose the Africa policy lens to you? Last year, where you know here when Zato himself was denied that he was a member of the Africa policy lens. Today, Frosley is telling you that he is a senior fellow of the Africa policy lens. I told you they turn out fake
There's Dr.
polls.
Frank Bannon.
All of them are Bawumia.
Dr. Yadom.
The last time, let me tell you, the last time I came here and did analysis
Professor Bwedi.
Professor Bwedi, I know him very well. He's a Bawumia loyalist. I spoke about Dr. Donfe. He called me, insulted, you are stupid, you are a fool. I told him that you are not mad enough. What is this? When you expose them, then they come back and insult you and send you text messages on top of it that you are this, you are that. We are talking about serious matters. What is scientific about what Zato did this morning? That the
no, they did the poll and the academics.
Did you listen to him?
Repute.
Did you listen to him? He said the basis for the establishment of Bawumia as the leading candidate is that they look at when you visit a candidate. I mean, the basis of the poll is that you must just go and visit the delegates, and that's all. You get their votes.
No.
That's what he said.
It's one of many of the indicators.
That's the main.
No, you have his stand to respect.
No, that's the thrust of his argument. That because Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia visited the delegate, that is all that the delegates needed. The delegates do not care about the economic circumstances, do not care about what you intend to do for them. I mean, beyond sending people to Israel, the next thing that Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia has said is that given the opportunity, he would employ 10 people per constituency.
But he's thinking about the party, Solomon. Also.
So every constituency has 10 people. Is that the way someone that must be thinking aloud?
About party loyalists.
How can you? Because you see, the point is that when you are voted for as a president, you don't serve only the interests of your party members. In any case, if you were to go to take 276 constituencies, do we have only 10 members of the party in each of the constituency? And what criteria? Instead of thinking about big policies and programs that will serve the interests of the public, you are rather thinking inwardly and saying that I will employ 10 people. And what would it do?
But it's an internal election.
What is what? The reason why we are discussing this matter falls under Article 55 of our Constitution. The NPP is a public institution that must be subjected to scrutiny. Because if we make mistakes and they come to power, you and I will be paying a tax revenue to them to manage it and manage it well. So that is the next, campaign message that he has given to the people. That he's going to employ 10 people per constituency. The next thing I heard from him is that he's going to build toilets. The last time he promised, he has bought the toilet again.
No.
Go to Abublushi. The one he promised, he has not
because
that.
As part of his messaging, he said that and argues that the gold board policy. It's the foundation. It's his gold for oil policy and then also the purchase program. That
is why you must not even listen to him. The last time I told you that the gold for oil, the last Bank of Ghana financial statement told you that they lost 1.82 billion through the gold for oil. A steady policy. It was for chop, it was corruption, personified. And I don't even know why this government, I've heard the Bank of Ghana say that they are conducting forensic audit into that matter. And I can tell you that the levels of exposé that will come out if they are going to do a meticulous job, it will blow your mind. And you will begin to chase those that have been championed in the gold for oil.
You take all the indicators. So, El Bernard, Africa Policy Lens, Global Info Analytics, highly reputable, even acknowledged by Zato himself. And then Dr. Evans Dia also saying, get connected, Kennedy Agyapong will be winning. It puts them head to head. And that means that an outcome could go either way, even though you make a claim that the DMB camp will be winning. At the end of the day, what's your own focus like that post the election, actions need to be undertaken to unite the party?
First of all, it's going to be very difficult for them to unite the party. Listening to Kennedy Agyapong and listening to other contenders. The Kennedy says that, he has repeated that Bawumia is a liar. And he said that he's not going to withdraw it. Because, you see, there are certain messages when you are in the campaign, when you say it's very easy to retract or withdraw and reconcile. Where people have taken an entrenched position. Kennedy is saying Bawumia is a liar. After the elections, how does he campaign for someone who is a liar? Then people will be seeing him in a different light. Now, the Kennedy's camp, the Bawumia's camp have also called Kennedy a mad person. How do you then present a mad person and then the rest will come together? Now, they have called him a mad person. I've heard Koka and the rest. You understand? So the point is that these people referring to themselves as mad, as a liar, I have heard Kennedy refer to Bawumia as autistic. How do you then present an autistic person to us? You understand? So it's a matter that where they have gotten to, it will be very, very difficult for them to reconcile after these elections. And that's why I don't envy them. Look, their polls, their prophecies, if you take Africa Lens, if you take, what do you call it, info analytics, if you take Bernard, they are all they are all in the same shoe like Ebonoa. I mean, it's just prediction. Not based on any scientific... No, but he also predicted that he got himself into that police. So after this, if he doesn't come in, should we go and run all of these people up and say that you also deceive the people? So the truth of the matter is that they have not done anything scientific. First of all, who is sponsoring all these people? Polls do not come cheap.
I don't understand.
Who is sponsoring info? Global Info, who is sponsoring the Africa Policy Lens, to come out with...
It's a company.
It's a company sponsored by who? Somebody must be sponsoring. And whose interests are they serving?
Chadra, call Evangel and then also Global Info Analysis.
Let me find out who is sponsoring them.
Okay, points made. Rashid, at the end of the day, you are watching on the sidelines. And it's important that you observe keenly. I mean, Ken Agyapong, DMB, as the predictions are, of course, Ato and Global Info Analytics and some other polls say DMB will win. Dr. Evans Dria says Ken Agyapong will win. Formidable candidate for you. Headache.
Well, like I stated initially, we already know the outcome of the 31st elections. So, as a political party, we are not perturbed at all. Because we know each of them, we know the strength of each of them. In any case, they are not even winning. So the person that they brought for the 2024 is the one they are bringing back again.
That's so, your target is DMB.
Of course, okay. I'm saying that.
So what if DMB doesn't win and then Ken wins? So you have no strategy for...
the thing is straightforward. I've been in this game for a very long time. In my experience in this game, I don't need to be in classroom to tell you about this experience that I've gathered over the years. I've been an election officer since 1996 for the party. So I've gone through the mill in this business, okay, for all this while. And I can tell you clearly, and that is why when I'm making my projection, when I'm speaking about election, I'm confident about certain things. I know what I'm talking about. I can tell you this process is properly designed for DMB. I don't expect any surprises. No, at all. In any case, should there be any surprise, that surprise will only lead them maybe to a second round. Of course, the DMB will still win. Because looking at the area of people, it appears about two other candidates in there are just a proxy or Ponzi candidate for DMB. They are in there. If you look at their posting, their outlook and other thing, it's just DMB line.
There are five.
There are five, but there are two of them.
So we take two out. The rest of the three.
The rest of the three are just one-sided.
They are puppets.
I said they are just one-sided.
Of DMB, so to speak, yes, in quotes.
It's a well-orchestrated plan. You will even see what they are doing, their output, and then their attack is rather on one of the candidates. If you look at two of them, they are seriously attacking one candidate. They are not even talking of DMB.
So we have two leading candidates.
Yes.
And the rest three, at least two of those three, they are attacking one of the two.
One of the two. It's very clear there.
Is it a riddle?
That's why I'm saying that there's a Ponzi game being played out there. It's a strategy. You see, when you are going into this business, it's just like the 2024. You saw some political parties contesting. They were being sponsored by the ruling government then. They brought them there. We go to an IPAC meeting and you see them, anytime they are singing, the chorus come from them. So it's a plan. We do have all these things, where you sponsor some Ponzi people to come and be singing your song and pretend that they are also political parties. It's just this thing they are doing. 2 of them is Bawumia people. And they are seriously watching, assuming, because, you know, the last time he was just on the touchline. And with this 38.2%, they are not sure whether he can still make it over the 50% that they are looking at. So should that thing happen, then the 2 of them will quickly declare that in that case we are supporting Bawumia. Are you getting that? That will force the other person, who is also independent of himself, to now look at the 2 where he can do a political marketing. That is what they are doing. And so it's a clear strategy that has been played out there. But we, as a political party, NDC, we are watching on the touchline. We are watching closely. In fact, I was telling Dr. Zato, my good brother, that they should, and then one of the committee members, that we want, if they can give us accreditation as monitors or observers.
The NDC?
Yes, of course. Why not?
You want to go and observe for the...
Yes, because we don't trust what these people are going to do. You need to observe and tell Ghanaians the truth. Because you know that one of them said...
The candidates have observers. We have the Electoral Commission managing the polls for them.
But you only have observers, independent observers. Anytime we are doing, they are accredited. Is that not true? We are public institution or agency, of course, organization, and we want to observe, okay, the processes. Because we've heard one of them saying that he's going to set up anti-rigging squad. One of the candidates.
Anti-rigging squad?
Yes.
Oh, who said that?
It's Kennedy Agyapong. He said he
believes the election could be rigged?
That they rigged him. They rigged the election the last time. He mentioned that he got some place 104, and they wrote 14 for him.
I think I heard that.
Yes, he's been saying it. And some place he got 75 and they gave him 0. So he doesn't trust these people. And that is why he was saying when they brought the document for him to sign, he indicated he wasn't signing because they expunged some clause. And they were forcing him, when anything happened, they should accept the results. How can I accept such a result, anything that happened there? And
the perception by the DMB camp, and then those who are the larger number of NPP supporters, that the NDC seem to be supporting Kennedy. And so the refrain is, if the NDC, maybe social media commentators and then public commentators seem to be going towards Ken Agyapong, it means that DMB is the person.
The question is, have they gone to play the tapes of Kennedy Agyapong attacking NDC and this leadership? They should go and play the videos. If we are going to support somebody, it's not going to be Kennedy Agyapong. Look at it. He didn't even mince words in attacking His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He said a lot of things.
That he burn his house. And
burn his house and our national chairman and all that. He has been saying all these things. And when he was saying, they were clapping for him.
I don't understand.
The NPP guys, all those people, they were clapping and enjoying his expressions. When he was attacking judges and all that, they were happy with him. And so when has he become the darling boy of NDC? We are saying that this political party, NPP, they have planned the thing, cooked the thing. And you see, the internal democratic credentials of each of the parties, it's important that we must question what is going on there. It's very important. Because like my good brother Solomon said, should they get into office, are we not going to pay our taxes to them? They managed our taxes for 8 years, wasted everybody's time and all that. And now they are struggling. You see, instead of them to do soul searching, they are angry for power. Why are they angry? Should be questioning that thing. Why are they so desperate to come back? Just after losing the election and getting 38.2, they are struggling to come back. My good brother said I shouldn't say 38.2. I don't know why he has issues with me. Dr. Zato is always...
Yeah, he said
I should have it.
The accepted result, that's been gazetted.
No, but when we lost in 2016, another thing, they came out and they were all about this. They've beaten NDC over 1 million votes. Did they beat NDC over 1 million votes? What are they talking about? We know that we collated the results. And our results is very clear. We have our results. We have, look, NPP tell them they should bring their own results and we see. They don't have. In 2020, we had our own results. By 10 p.m. that night, we had finished them. And our results was reading 38.2. It was very clear. And that's why Dr. Bawumia had to quickly run and accepted the result, because he knew that if they were to come out with their own result, it would even be worse. And so for that one, that is what we have. We collated our results, we had our results, and then our results pointed to 38.2%. And it's very clear, the records are there. Until the 9 other constituency came in, and then up to now, they are still struggling to put out these things. So, Dr. Zato, I am not cooking figures for you. That is what we have. And that is what our database is telling us.
Dr. Zato, are you on stream? Dr. Zato? Okay, so we'll try and call Dr. Evans Dria. He did the polls predicting that we're going to have the polls going the way of the, I think the one at number 1, right? And all that.
Kennedy Agyapong.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it also means that for you, the United Party, you need to get your act together.
We are more than getting our acts together. Let me say that ever since they started their process, the number of people that are registering at our website, and for the benefit of your viewers, our website continues to remain www.unitedpartyghana.org. I can tell you that a lot of them have started joining us, that they know it is not going anywhere. This is only a fiction.
For real?
Oh, for real. I would never lie for any reason. They know that what they are doing is not going to get to anywhere. They know the party has not learned anything from it. It is only a process to rubber stamp Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia on Saturday, impose on them for their own personal parochial interest. Either than that, how can you go into an election and lose heftily like that? No proper research, no reorganization. All you care about is to bring a flag bearer. Now, when you bring the flag bearer, for the next 3 years, what is the flag bearer going to do? What is he going to do? That he's going to go around and campaign that when I was in power, the city to the dollar was, 17 cedi, and now it's 10 cedi, so I was better off. Is that what you want to subject your flag bearer to? That you let your flag bearer be going around and say that when I was the head of economic management team and the vice president, a liter of diesel was being sold for 23 cedis, and now it's being sold for 9 cedi, and so my government was better off. Then you subject your flag bearer to the Ghanaian and say that when I was in power, the debt to the GDP was 65%, now it's about 45%, so vote for the NPP. That you go back to Ghanaians and tell them that, oh, when we were in power, we dug that big hole that brought in economic emancipation. So vote for me, vote for the new patriotic party, that when he goes around, he will be confronted with the issues of corruption, and he will go and explain that, oh yes, it was a good idea that someone swindled the country 2.4 billion at the national service, someone led us to SMLD, someone led us into PDS, someone led us into the National Cathedral, and the former finance minister, happily so, has run away to the United States and is not coming back. Is that a campaign message? Is that what he's going to go around and be telling the people of this country? That's why the top-down approach, whichever you look at it, I heard Professor Michael yesterday with Beatrice defend the position. I think one of the problems of the day of the party is Professor Michael Kwe. The titles are misleading the party.
Titles?
How can you...
He's an experienced
what
politician,
what
academician,
experience? What experience?
Reverend,
what experience?
former Speaker of Parliament.
Christ in me, that as a former speaker, as a former member of Parliament for Dome, he could not use that experience to back his own son to win a very safe seat. Domi Kwabena, safe, they lost. You understand? That after losing by such a hefty margin in Domi Kwabena, what you could advise the party is that they must embark on a top-down approach to maintain the very delegates that elected a very weak candidate called Dr. Bawumia, who led them to a very hefty defeat, and that process and that system is good. How can you advise a party like that? And that is why he is a professor, another professor by name, Professor Bob, what he says, no, these are fake members of the party. By fake members of the party, probably was referring to some of them. And that the virtual members who believe in the ideals and the principles of the party do not believe that the direction in which that they are going will serve the interests of the party. And I believe that they have shot themselves in the foot. They are never going to come back. They are going to play relegation matches with the CPP. And the United Party will continue to do what is right for the people of this country. And that as I've admonished the youth of this country, it is time for us to have a paradigm shift to move in a different direction so that we will taste a different government, a government that belongs to you. The youth of this country today are no more interested that I was born into this party, born into that party. All that the teeming youth of this country cares about is that they have been given a very good job, good jobs that can pay them so that they can rent, marry, and live a decent life. That's all that they are calling for, and not what they are doing and treating. That when you come and employ 10 people from each constituency, how does that help the economy of Ghana? How does it help?
This is an internal election. I'll say that again. And I think, is that not the way
internal election? Beyond the internal election, I don't know going to face the people of this country.
Cabinet...
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.